All right, welcome back to M365 Voice. I'm Antonio Mayo, and
I am Michael Rani.
And we're back to you with another podcast. Today, we're actually going to talk about Microsoft Search and some of the great things coming to Search. Now, Mike, this is one of the areas that you specialize in, is it not?
Yeah, I love Search. I've done that back previously to Microsoft Search. I've done a lot of search-based applications in Sharepoint Online. So I've done a lot of custom apps, a lot of portals based on Search. So I do love Search, and I've spent a lot of time working with it.
Okay, that's great. I know that various people in the SharePoint and OneDrive and Microsoft 365 community, we kind of specialize in different areas of the platform, and Search is, like you said, an area you specialize in, and it's an area that I see gets used heavily by customers to surface content.
Correct.
So can you maybe start off by talking about some of the experiences you've seen where Search is heavily used?
A lot of scenarios in the past where I've seen Search being used in terms of aggregating content and surfacing content from different places into a homepage of a SharePoint site, for example, or developing an application that is search-driven to allow gathering of different data and different documents or items into one place. A lot of scenarios where the end user really have stored the information in different places, this is SharePoint site collections, document libraries, lists, whatever, or into the Azure AD, and they want to actually disseminate this data and gather all the data together and present it in one place.
And I think I've sometimes seen it referred to as kind of rolling up content or content roll-ups, where
Correct.
It's based on actually searching.
Correct. Yeah, we've used like the search web parse, the classic search web parse back in the days with SharePoint, whether it is the search results web parse or the navigation items or the content search web parse, just to roll up all this information from different places, adding a lot of rules to it to kind of filter information or display it in a different way as well.
Okay. And I know that recently we've heard a lot of announcements, especially at Microsoft Ignite, about new search capabilities that are coming in Q1 of this year, so Q1 2020. So we expect it to hit tenants sometime soon. So can you maybe talk about some of the new announcements that have come out or some of the new features we can expect to see?
Yeah, so we have transitioned a while ago from what we've known forever as the SharePoint search into the Microsoft search, where Microsoft is applying AI technology from Bing and to try to surface more personalized information driven by Microsoft Graph as well. So it's all beyond Microsoft 365 content. We are going to go and see results that can be crawled and surfaced and displayed to the end user from Office 365, from your Windows 10, from different line of business applications, whether those line of business apps are cloud-based or on-premise as well. So there are a lot of announcements that happen at Ignite that we'll be seeing them very soon in Q1. Quite a bit of announcements, quite a bit of enhancements to make sure that search is the center to find information or to display the information for you. I don't have to go and look for it. It will be actually shown to me in whatever, if I am in an office.com, whether I am in a SharePoint site collection, in a SharePoint homepage, or any other application.
Okay. Now, can you talk a little about some of the new search experiences we can expect to see in SharePoint Online or OneDrive for Business? I think that's one area where we saw some great new announcements.
Yeah, so it's it's not only specifically to SharePoint Online and OneDrive. One thing that they announced specifically for SharePoint is the ability to actually crawl or surface information from SharePoint Classic into the modern search. Right now, if you are in modern search, you will only see results from the SharePoint modern site collections. Versus if you wanted to see anything in Classic, you have to go back and revert back to the SharePoint Classic. Right now, Microsoft Search will be able to bring information from OneDrive and from the modern SharePoint site collection. And plus a lot of enhancements from not only specifically to SharePoint, but to search in general. Spelling suggestions and recommendation is one of them. For example, if I make a mistake or I am searching for a specific term, it will come back and suggest different terms for me. It will suggest if I can search for nicknames. I will be using natural language to be able to search whatever that search is. Whatever I'm performing that search from SharePoint or from Office.com, from my Windows 10 device, it's basically the same experience I am going to have.
That's interesting. There's something you said there that I think a lot of people didn't really know about. The fact that if you were on a SharePoint Modern page and you searched from there, you did not get search results from SharePoint Classic sites.
That is correct.
So Microsoft Search is fixing that.
Microsoft Search will be able to find information or data from classic SharePoint sites right now.
That's great. That's excellent, because I think you would see some kind of different search results depending on if you were on a modern page site or a classic site.
Exactly.
Okay, that's great. So Microsoft Search will address that. And then I believe I heard that there's some new customization capabilities coming in terms of the the search results page.
Yes. So one of the things we loved before is the ability to actually go and create our own custom search web parts, or use the out-of-the-box search web parts and create our own display templates. From a SharePoint search perspective, you'll create a display template for the search results or the content search web parts, and you'll display the information any way you want. It can be a scrolling images, it can be a list, it can be a card type results. That kind of disappeared for a while when we moved into the actual modern search. This is coming back, where I will be able to actually either use some custom web parts that are hosted in GitHub, or I can create my own, or I can create my own custom results as well. Right now, the filter of the actual results, you can filter by sites or files or people or location. And that's the limitation we have today. What's coming up, I will be able to add more filter options to my results. I will be able to actually customize my result page and make it more dynamically fits my organization from a theming perspective, from a color perspective. How do I want to display the information? So that customization is coming back into the search results.
Great, great. I think, yeah, we very much enjoyed being able to customize search result display templates before, and I think we're looking forward to that coming back with Microsoft Search. What about things like refiners?
Refiners also will be able to do that. So in the beginning, I mentioned that it will be powered by Microsoft Graph. So we will have a new MS Graph search API that will allow us to customize and build some custom search results from a filtering perspective and from an apps perspective that will allow us to create our own filters within the actual result page. In addition, Microsoft is giving us over 100 connectors that are either Microsoft built connectors or third-party companies connectors that will allow us to go and connect to other line of business applications like ServiceNow or Salesforce. That with those connectors, I will be able to create my own filtering options there as well.
And do we know what those connectors look like yet? Like where those connectors live or sit?
Good question. I don't know.
Okay, so we haven't seen them yet.
We haven't seen them yet.
No, those are something that we're really looking forward to, because I think, like, one of the things I heard, and please confirm this, but one of the nice new capabilities we're hoping to get is to be able to, from Microsoft Search, be able to search our on-premise network file shares.
That is correct.
By deploying some sort of lightweight connector to our on-premise environment. So
where exactly they live, I don't know yet.
Okay. Okay, so we'll look for that once these are released. Exactly. I've heard that those are in preview. It might be a private preview still. I'm not sure if it's a public preview or private preview, but they are in preview, and very much looking forward to getting access to those. The nice thing about those, and tell me your opinion on this, at least in my opinion, is we often will spend a lot of effort moving network file shares with old content into SharePoint Online, in part so that you're able to search those from one interface. Right. The hope, for me at least, is that if we have a lightweight connector where we can point it to your network file shares, you don't necessarily need to move all that content anymore to SharePoint Online, but you'll still be able to search it from Microsoft Search.
Absolutely. If your target is only to go and find the information and find where the actual file lives, you don't need to move them anymore. The only time you move them is if you want to apply some retention or disposition policies on the files, you have to have them living in a system. But if I just want to have an access to the file system and I don't want to go through the actual migration of terabytes and terabytes of data, with that connector, it will allow me to go and search for them, and the results will come back from the on-prem network shares.
That's great. That'll be fantastic. You talked a little bit about natural language processing. Can you maybe talk a little bit about what that looks like and what kind of search terms would you use?
So they call it semantic search in Microsoft Search. And it is basically a way for any user to go and search for things based on how I can actually explain it. So it is a natural language processing. I can go and search, for example, for how much sugar is in a can of Coke, or can I hire my cousin? And it will go back, and based on AI, it will allow me to get some results based on if I am searching for employment, if there is any conflict of interest policies that HR has. It will give me, for example, the calories in a diet in a can of Coke. So it will understand the actual phrase that I actually entered, and it will go and look for this information through AI and display the information for me. So it's not looking for exact same words. It's looking at the context of the actual phrase, and it will understand the query and will come back with results for me. And this is not only from this SharePoint. It is from, if you go into the corporate Bing or to Bing itself, and if you have Bing implemented with your Office 365, you'll go and search it, and it will get results for you from the organization, from your corporation, and from the internet as well.
That's great. So we've had Microsoft Search for a little while. So for people that haven't seen it, you now, as you mentioned earlier, whether you're in one of the Office applications or whether you're in SharePoint or OneDrive, or if you're in Microsoft Outlook, for example, also, you now have that search bar. Can you maybe talk about because some people have seen that, but they may not necessarily consider that Microsoft Search, right? Can you maybe talk about what are all the data sources it's searching against out of the box without custom connectors?
Out of the box, we search SharePoint, we search OneDrive. It searches your calendar, your Outlook. It searches, you're going to have search against Microsoft Stream as well.
Does it search Bing from there also?
It does, yes. If you have, like I said, if you have your corporate enterprise Bing implemented, it will go and search. Is basically I have it in my tenant where I get results from my documents, and I get results from the internet when I search on something. So those are the out-of-the-box repositories.
Okay. What about your Windows desktop? Does it search there as well?
Absolutely. If you are in Windows 10, you can do a search from there. It is not only searching your desktop, it's also searching your Office 365 tenant. So it's also searching your OneDrive. If you have the OneDrive sync client, it's searching locally or in the cloud. It is also searching your SharePoint sites as well, whatever you have access to it. You have to remember also that even we're going with Microsoft Search, nothing has changed from a security and permission perspective. It will always respect who you are. So it will only display the information based on who you are. If you don't have access to that information still does not exist for you.
Okay, that's great. That's good to remember. Any other advances coming to Microsoft Search that we can expect to see soon?
We talked about customizations. We talked about the people card as well. That's one thing from a.
That's right.
It's really because it's leveraging Graph API and it's powered by AI. It will go and look, for example, for your people card, and then it will suggest to update your contact information as well. Okay. So it can give you some suggestion based on the analytics it has. It will give you a suggestion to do an update of your profile. Okay. It will allow me, for example, if I know Antonio, I've talked with Antonio once in my life, for example. I know Antonio works in marketing. I know Antonio works in Dublin, but I don't really know I could not remember the name. So I can go and say, Antonio in marketing who works in Dublin, and it would come back with a people search for me that would suggest for me, this is the person that you're looking for. So it has all the smartness behind it that will allow me to find the information, not only about specific data from a files perspective, but about the people and where the people actually work. It can have a floor plan. If I work in a very large organization with multiple buildings, or in one building with multiple floors, you can have a floor plan attached to you, and it will actually show you exactly where that person is. Or I can search for you. Or I remember as I talked to Antonio, he is on the 5th floor. It will actually go and search for you based on the 5th floor.
That's great. Very cool. Anything else to share, Mike, on search?
So stay tuned. Yes, one more thing before we go, stay tuned. The admin experience. So they are unifying the admin experience for Microsoft Search. Right now we have Microsoft Search, and we have the classic SharePoint Search. So we're going to have a unified experience in one place to go and administer the Microsoft Search. That is coming up. That will allow us to further enhance the experience for the administrators and the end user. So a lot of things happening. A lot of things will be rolled out in Q1. So really looking forward to it.
Great. Well, thanks, Mike, for all the info on search. You're definitely the expert in this. It's an area that I've dabbled in a little bit, but not nearly as much as you. So appreciate you sharing all the info today. Great. Thanks for joining us, everyone, on M365 Voice. Look for our next podcast sometime soon. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thanks, Mike.